Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash, Shalom, love of Prime, Shah Yasharal, elect the first fruits of the kingdom. So, this is the book of Psalms, the 89th chapter, and Shalom, because one of the brother Yahweh, Shalom. It said the 89th chapter, Psalms, the 89th chapter, in the first verse. It said, I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. With my mouth I will make known thy faithfulness to all generations, right? Because we come back into generations, reincarnation, and 3 and 4 generations to praise the Father. That is the first fruits. That is the first fruits. So it says, now everybody comes back, but it's going to tell you the spirit of the prophets is subject to prophets. 1 Corinthians 14, that 32. So it says, the second verse, for I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Thy faithfulness shalt thou establish on very heavens. And the kingdom of heaven is going to be established on the earth. All right, the kingdom of heaven is going to come down on earth in great violence. The scripture say the Lord is going to answer us with violence. He's going to answer our prayers. It says, the third verse, I have made a covenant with my chosen, with these people. Starting with the first fruits, house of David. Hence the mercy to the house of David. To the brother Laramai, Shalom Alaikum. Fourth verse says, for thy seed will I establish forever. The seed of the Lord is be established upon the top of the hills. The government of the Lord is going to be established. Say Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. It says, thy seed I will establish forever and build thy throne to all generations. Selah. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders, and thy faithfulness also in the congregation of the saints. Right, and the saints gonna declare thy works. You know, scripture tell you that we shall declare the works of the Lord exactly. All right, Sirach 16, and it says Sirach 16:24, my son, hearken unto me and learn knowledge, and mark my words in thy heart. It says, I will show forth doctrine and ways, and declare his knowledge exactly. The works of the Lord are done in judgment from the beginning, and from the time he made them, he disposed the parts thereof. Yeah, so the works of the Lord are done in judgment, and that's what he get ready to bring on the society, judgment. All right, the works of the Lord are done in judgment. So in order to declare the works of the Lord exactly, you have to tell the works of the Lord to the first fruits of the house of Jacob, the first fruits of the kingdom, right? As fishers of men, the Lord said, "I will follow me. I'll make you fishers of men." And as you become fishers of men, you become hunters with the Lord's return. Upon the Lord's return, so it says, "Thy seed," Psalms 89:4, "I will establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations." Selah. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders, thy faithfulness also in the congregation of the saints. Right? These devils are not going to declare, all right, the majesty of the Almighty. That's going to be declared by the saints in the congregation of the saints. Shalom to the brother Daniel. Shalom alaikum. 6th verse. So it says, "For who in the heaven can be compared unto the Most High? Or who amongst the sons of the mighty can be likened unto the Most High?" It says, "God is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints." All right, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. O Lord of hosts, who is strong, Lord, like unto thee, and thy faithfulness, or to thy faithfulness round about thee. Thou rulest the rage of the sea. When the waves thereof arise, thou stillest them. Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces. As one that is slain, thou scatterest thy enemies with thy strong arm. Right. And then when the enemies of the Lord get ready to be scattered, dashed to pieces. All right, start with these so-called white people. All right, these devils. The heavens are dying. All right, the heaven and all the capacity belongs to the Lord, not to Esau. All right, not to Esau, not to Moab, not to the other nations, man. All right. It says, "Why did the heathen rage?" Psalms 2, and imagine a vain thing. Right. It says they imagine a vain thing. It says the north and the south. The heavens are dying. The 11th verse. The earth also is dying. And as for the world and the fullness thereof, thou hast founded them. The north and the south, thou hast created them. Tabor and Hermon shall rejoice in thy name. Thou hast a mighty arm, strong is thy hand, and high is thy right hand. right? It says, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne, and mercy and truth shall go before thy face, right? Upon the arrival of the king. All right, it says Revelation 19 chapter. He's going to wear many crowns upon his head, so mercy and truth, okay, are going to go before the Lord's face. Justice and judgment shall be the habitation of his throne when established upon the earth. All right. With roots and flames of fire. It says, blessed is the people that know the joyful sound, what the song of Moses. That blessed people going to sing that song, Revelation the 15th chapter. All right, the first fruits. They're going to sing the they're going to sing the song of Moses, the song of deliverance. All right. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Lord, in the light of thy countenance. In thy name they shall rejoice all the day long. And in our righteousness there shall be exalted, right? And we're not going to be exalted in Esau's kingdom. Be exalted in our kingdom, all right? Be exalted in after the time of Jacob's trouble, after the time of the restitution of all things, all right? The time of restitution of all things at hand, you know? That's after the time of Jacob's trouble. We're going to be reinstituted we're going to be reinstituted as the owners of the earth. It says, in thy name shall they rejoice all the day, and in thy righteousness they shall be exalted. For thou art the glory of their strength. And in thy favor our horns shall be exalted. For the Lord is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is your king. That's right. Not the so-called white man, not the king of Babylon, man. All right. Then thou spakest a vision to thy Holy One, and hast said, I have laid help upon one that's mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. I have found David my servant. With my holy joy I have anointed him. Before my hand shall be established, my arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. Yeah, these devils are not going to prevail against the house of David. All right? They're not going to afflict him anymore. Scripture say, Isaiah 29 chapter, 22nd verse. Jacob's face shall not wax pale, man. Jacob, David, the sons of Yaquab, man, and David himself, and his Lord Solomon. All right, that says Psalms 110. It says, the Lord said unto my Lord, you know, sit on my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool. That's what the Lord gonna tell you. He's gonna tell you Habashai. He's gonna tell King David on down. He's gonna tell the men, all right, of the house of David, the elect, the first fruits, the heavenly Jerusalem. All right, spirits of just men made perfect. Hebrews 12 and 23 and 24. All right. So it says, I'll beat down his foes. Okay, the enemy shall not exact upon him. Psalms 89 22. All right. It's on to Malak Live. The enemy shall not exact upon him. These devils are not going to exact authority upon us. Should say he's going to tread upon scorpions and serpents, and nothing shall by any means hurt us. It said Luke the 10th chapter. All right, 16. All right. It says, I'll beat down his foes before him and plague them that hate him. 23rd verse. For my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him. In my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand upon also in the sea, his right hand in the rivers. He shall cry unto me, thou art my father, my power, and the rock of my salvation. I will also make him my firstborn. See? Higher than all the kings of the earth. I'll make him my firstborn, higher than all the kings of the earth, man. All right, all the kings of the earth right now will be these devils. All right, these behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? These bankers. All right, they're the kings of the earth. You know, the dukes of Edom. Also, I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy I will keep forever. More, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also I will make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. If his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then I will visit their transgression with the rod, and their iniquity with stripes. That's what's happening. You know, that's what's happening. We have been met with the Lord has met the transgressor with the rod, with the stripe, with the rod of the anger. That's the devil. All right, the Assyrian, it says Isaiah 10 and 5. It says, nevertheless, my loving kindness I will not take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fail, because gonna have mercy on Jacob, Isaiah 14:1, and yet choose Israel. You know, he gonna return with Jacob with healing his wings. They say in Malachi, the 4th chapter, in the 1st verse. It says, my covenant I will not break, nor alter the thing that's gone out of my lips. Malachi 3:6. All right. It says, all right. It says, the Lord changed not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. You know. Once I have sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David or his seed, which shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, as the faithful witness in heaven. But thou hast cast us off and abhorred, thou hast been wroth with thine anointed. Thou hast made void the covenant of thy servant, thou hast profaned his crown by casting it to the ground. Right, I was wroth with my people, Isaiah 47:6, and I have polluted mine inheritance. All right. All that passed by the way spoil him. He is a reproach to his neighbors. Thou hast set up thy right hand of his adversaries, this devil. The left hand, that's the right hand of his adversary. All right. Thou hast made all his enemies to rejoice. Thou hast also turned the edge of his sword and has not made him to stand in the battle. Thou hast made his glory to cease, and hast cast his throne to the ground. The days of his youth hast thou shortened. Thou hast covered him with shame. How long, Lord, wilt thou hide thyself forever? Shall thy wrath burn like the fire? Remember how short my time is. Wherefore hast thou made all men in vain? What man is he that liveth and shall not see death? And shall he deliver his soul from the hand of the grave? Selah. Yeah, it's impossible to escape the Lord's hand. That's in Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 15. All right, but that the last enemy be defeated is death. I'm gonna read First Corinthians 15. All right, we read 1 Corinthians 15. So it says, remember, O Lord, the 50th verse, the reproach of thy servant, how I do bear in my bosom the reproach of all the mighty people. Wherewith thy enemies have reproached, O Lord, wherewith they have reproached the footsteps of thine anointed. All right, but they're no longer going to reproach the footsteps of thine anointed. All right, everything will return. All right, I will cause the remnant of this people to possess the inheritance. All right, to possess all things. That says Zechariah 8 and 12. For the seed shall be prosperous. Zechariah 8:12. For the seed shall be prosperous, and the vine shall give her fruit. The vine shall give her fruit. Yeah, the vine, which the Lord came to establish. I tell you, John the 15th chapter. I'm the vine. All right, you have the branches. Without me, you can do nothing. The 4th verse. It says, the vine shall give her fruit. The first fruits. They're gonna give her. They're gonna bring forth fruit. And the ground shall give her increase. It's going to increase, man. All right? The earth is going to be a paradise underneath the rulership of Jacob. And I will cause the remnant of these people to possess all things. Yeah, underneath Yahushua, all things are going to flourish. All right? Some say, wipe tears off all their eyes. That's these people. They're going to be perfect. All right? So ain't no crying in perfection, man. In imperfection, there's crying, man. There's sorrow. All right? And all these things, but hey, that's on this side, man. That's why, matter of fact, I was talking about it with my woman earlier, Job the 3rd chapter, all right? Curse the day wherein I was born, and that's the spirit. Because here it is, on this side, it's a few days, man. You know, why would you? That's the thing. Why would you celebrate a day where it's where you came to suffer, man? You know, the day you celebrate the day that you came into your judgment, you know, which was this life right here, all right? But now we're getting ready to inherit, all right, the promises. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their due. And I will cause the remnant of these people to possess all things. That's right. We're going to possess all things, man. The remnant. Okay, Isaiah 14:24, the Lord of hosts hath sworn, all right, which he can't lie, you know. Surely as I have thought, so it shall come to pass. I have purposed it. All right, which that counsel he's going to establish. Isaiah the 44th chapter, the counsel of his messenger, which he have sworn. Surely, as I have thought, so it shall come to pass, and as I have purposed it, so it shall stand. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot, and give the power to my servants the chosen to tread him underfoot. All right. Then shall his yoke depart from off of them, and his burden shall depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched upon all the nations. It's impossible, Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 15, to escape thy hand. All right? For the Lord of hosts hath purposed it. Who shall disannul it? His hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? That's right. Who shall turn it back? All right? Which one of these nations going to alter the course of time? You can't. That's why it says in Psalms, the 2nd chapter. All right? The heathen rage and manage the vain thing. You know, they're all looking for solutions. All right? As scripture say in the NLT, it speaks about human leaders. It's vain to put that trust in human leaders. I believe it's NLT. So at the end of the day, the Lord said He put no confidence in the legs of man. He taketh no confidence in the legs of man. All right. For a horse is the vain thing for Satan. You know. But these devils, as said Isaiah 30, the 30th chapter, that they're not gods. Isaiah the 31st chapter and the 3rd verse, the chariots are flesh and not spirit. You know. Okay, so I'll break the Assyrian in my land, 25th verse, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot, using my mountain, Mount Zion. All right. Okay, so it said Micah 6 and 6, wherewith shall I come before the Lord, and bow myself before the Most High? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings or with calves of a year? Will the Lord be pleased with 1,000 rams or with the tens of thousands of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression? See, the Lord gave his firstborn, his son, for the transgression of his people, for the firstborn of the kingdom. How about that? He didn't give his firstborn, the Lord didn't give his firstborn for these devils, man. He gave his firstborn for the saints. All right? It's all about the firstborn. Like in Egypt, you know. They'll take the firstborn. Exodus the 34th chapter. You know. All right? It speaks about the firstborn. That whole chapter is about the firstborn, man. You know? Exodus 34th chapter. So it says, will the Lord be pleased with 1,000 rams or with the 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? Just like what happened in Genesis 22. You know, the firstborn, Isaac, was getting ready to be sacrificed as a lamb, which foreshadowed what will happen at the return of the Lord. Same person, same spirit. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good. What doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy power? That's what the Lord requires of us. All right. I tell you in Ecclesiastes 12. All right. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall see thy name. The man of wisdom shall see thy name. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, unto what? New Jerusalem, unto the elect. All right. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall see thy name. Hear the rod, and who have appointed it. Hear the reproof, and who have appointed it. All right. Are they yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and in the scant measure that is abominable? Are there yet treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked? There's no. The riches profit not in the day of wrath. That's what the scripture say. That's why it says in Proverbs 23. It says, if thou be a man if thou sittest with the king, all right, consider what diligently was before thee, all right, take not his meat for his deceitful meat, all right, king of this world, the rulers of the darkness of this world, all right. It says, put a knife to thy throat, except thou be a man of appetite, if thou be a man of appetite, all right. Are there yet treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked? In the scant measure that is abominable, should I count them pure with the wicked balances, and with the bag of deceitful weights? For the rich men that are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. That's right. All right. Everything in this place is a lie, man. It says Psalms 58 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb, and they go astray as soon as they begin speaking lies. So they concoct nothing but lies. All right. Surely our fathers have inherited lies. I tell you, Jeremiah, what's that? 16 and 19. All right. They have inherited lies. You know. It says, for the rich men thereof are full of violence, All right, Micah 2 and 2, they covet violence. All right, they cover the fields and by violence and take them. It says the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is the deceitful mouth. It's deceitful in their mouth. So like, therefore also I make thee sick in smiting them and making them desolate because of thy sins. Thou shalt eat but not be satisfied. Yeah, you can't be satisfied here, man. Thou shalt eat and not be satisfied. That's why his deceitful meat, you know, these dudes can receive it and then they end up killing themselves. Like Waka Flocka. He has the meat of this world. That's why he ran across the brothers and you know, he couldn't get it. You know? All right, that was recent. I think it was like Florida somewhere. Big temple. But anyway, it says thou shalt eat but not be satisfied, and thy casting down shall be in the midst of thee. All right. Thou shalt, but the Lord says, thou eat of this bread and then drink of this water that I give thee. It said, man shall never thirst. You know, and it shall be full. All right. And thou shalt take hold but not be. Thou shalt not deliver. And that which thou deliverest, I will give up to the sword. All right. Thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap. Oh, matter of fact, I had this. I was watching this guy. What's this dude's name? Damn, what's his dude's name? Yaki Awaken. Right. I was gonna do a video on it, but I said for fuck it, because I guess he's supposed to be some type of healer, right? And I guess he had like 500,000. He had like 500,000 subscribers and shit like that. But he was talking about the Israelites and shit. And yeah, he was going totally off, man. But he was supposed to be some type of guru, all right? See, so the thing is, hey, here it is. They'll call them type of people healers, right? But they're not bringing forth the important ones, the first fruits, all right? See, you can heal these people, but ultimately the Lord's going to come cut them down anyways. That's why these people are concerned about the community, all right? Well, Dr. Sebi was a healer, but they're not giving you the word of life. All right, John, the 6th chapter. It says that in the latter end of the chapter, 66 on down, it says that the Lord asked him, will you go also? Because certain of his disciples left him, you know? He said, will you go also? He said, where will we go, Lord? For thou hast the words of life. So they had the words of life. So here it is, these people ain't received the words of life, so they're not important. The scripture say, let the multitude perish that was born in vain. So ultimately, that's all in vain, man. What Dr. Sebi was doing, even though it was good in a sense, you know, to heal certain, but ultimately the Lord is going to cut these people down, man. All right? The Lord is going to bring his judgment on the majority of Jake, that even though you may heal them, you make money on this side, whatever, but that's not the true healing. All right? The true healing comes by way of the word. All right? Because the people are still empty at the end of the day. Because they haven't received the truth and the knowledge of the wisdom. Ultimately, what I'm getting at is what matters is the elect, man. That's all that matters. The first fruits, the church of the firstborn, man. That's what we're concerned about. That's what the Lord's concerned about, man. The councils in the heavens, the concern is the first fruits, man. Right? Not the 2/3 of our people, man. The Lord said, lift not up a cry for these people. Jeremiah 7 and 16. You know? So it said Micah 6 and 15, thou shalt sow and thou shalt not reap. They're sowing here, man. The scripture say gather up treasure in heaven. But they're sowing here, man. You know? As you see, they don't love our Lord, man. All right? And all they hate, they love death. You know? The time is short, you know? Thou shalt sow, thou shalt not reap. Thou shalt tread the olives, but thou shalt not anoint thee with oil and sweet wine. But thou shalt not drink wine, for the statutes of the old men are kept, and all the works of the house of Ahab. And you walk in their counsels. But what they were doing? Worshiping idols and doing wickedness. And being dirtbags. How has that become a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? I said Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. You know, I read about 33. You know. So it says, and you walk in their counsels, that I should make thee a desolation, and the inhabitants thereof a hissing. Therefore ye shall be a reproach of my people, right? Ultimately, we went through all this, and these devils gonna go back, the curse is gonna fall on them. I tell you in Jeremiah 30 and 7, you know. most of them. I said Romans 8 and 29. It says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate, and to be conformed to the image of his son, that he may be the firstborn amongst many brethren. Yeah, that's what it's all about. The firstborn amongst many brethren. Whom he did foreknow, he did predestinate, that he may be the firstborn amongst many brethren. You know, Ishmael is not the firstborn. That's why Ishmael, he looked at this and he said, "No, this is not for me," because that's Ishmael, man. You know. All right. That's why I tell you in Ephesians it says that something like the person, the Levite brother, the Ziathon. That's why Ishmael, it said in Ephesians, it says that Galatians, what's that for? The bondwoman should not be heir with the son of the free woman. You know, the son of the free woman, that's us. That damn Ishmaelite, the wild man, Genesis 16th chapter. He's a wild man. He should not enter in the congregation, oh Lord, to his 10th generation, man. He should not enter. You know, he's the wild man. So it says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, to the image of Yahushua. That's why it says in the scriptures that we have received the mind of Yahushua, not the mind of this world. Well, the first fruits have received the mind of Yahushua, not the Drewskis and the O'Shea Dookies, you know, and these different dudes of the world, you know, the Polites, you know what I'm saying? They have received the mind of this world, man. They have received the carnal mind, you know. They have received their consolations on this side, man. They're not part of the first fruits. You know, 99.9% are not part of the 9%. Not part of the first fruits, man. The scripture says it's easier for the camel to enter into the eye of the needle than rich man enter into the kingdom of heaven. You know? Well, with all the scripture do say, well, all things, the Most High, all things are possible. But it also says that too, so it's balanced. So yeah, he could save certain of them, maybe one or two handful that maybe have secret discipleship, like John, the 19th chapter. Let's say about the 38th verse. It speaks about Joseph Arimathea, you know. All right. Well, he's a rich man, the secret disciple, so he got saved. He's part of the elect. But ultimately, a rich man is not entering into rest until after the death, because they partook in this society and they're going to take their chip. They're lovers of Satan. They've taken deals, you know, they've sold out, been compromised, you know what I mean? Have made a covenant with hell, and that's going to be disannulled, Isaiah the 28th chapter, but the 17th verse. Lord said, lay judgment to the line, all right, righteousness to the plummet, you know. Sirach 17 and 17. All right, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. So it's all about the first fruits. It's all about Jacob. It's all about the first fruits of Jacob, man. First fruits of the kingdom. All right, for the division of the nations of the whole earth, he has set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion. Israel is the Lord's portion, whom being his firstborn and the firstborn amongst them. They're called out. That's the church. All right, the elect. He nourished it with discipline. That's why he chastised them to bring forth more fruit. John 15:4. He purged every branch that bring forth fruit. He purges it and bring forth more fruit. He nourished it with his discipline. That's why he said, "Only you have I known of all the families of the earth, Amos 3 and 2. Therefore I punish you for your iniquity." Who being his firstborn, he nourished it with discipline and gave him the light of his love and did not forsake him. Therefore all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways. All right? And his eyes are upon the simple kingdom, upon 2/3 and upon the righteous, that he going to exempt from the judgment, Ezekiel 9 and 4. All right? So since Sirach 36 and 12 says, O Lord, have mercy upon thy people that is called by thy name, upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. That's right. He's going to have his mercy on us and yet choose Jacob, man. Isaiah 14th chapter and the first verse. All right, 2 Ezra 6 and 58. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten and thy fervent lover are gotten into their hands, right? Into the hands of the serpent that we're gonna tread upon, man. All right, 10, man. That's it. And 15, and thou Capernaum, which art exalted to heaven, thou shalt be thrust down to hell. He that hears you hears me, and he that despises you despises me, and he that despises me despises him that sent me. And the 70 returned again with joy and said, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread upon scorpions and serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. All right, I give you power to tread upon scorpions and serpents. Serpents and scorpions, Lucky. Notwithstanding in all this, rejoice not, but that the spirits are subject unto, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven, right? And those are the first fruits. Those are written in heaven. The names are written in heaven in the Lamb's book of life. All right, who the Lamb gave his book to open, to open up the understanding of those books too. When he read Revelation the 5th chapter, he opened up that understanding to his disciples, man. All right. Matter of fact, real quick. Matter of fact, Mark the 4th chapter, a couple of Mark 4. The watch is at awards. Mark the 4th chapter. How will I see the outside by the side? It says Mark 4 and 24. Matter of fact, 26 says, and he said unto them, so is the kingdom of the Most High Bashim Ashai, as if a man should cast seed into the ground, and should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring up and grow, and he knoweth not how, for the earth bringeth forth of herself first the blade, then the ear, and after that the full corn in the ear. But when the fruit is brought forth, immediately he putteth in the sickle, because the harvest is come. Now, it says, and he said, whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Ashai, or wherewith shall we compare it to? It is like the grain of a mustard seed. When it is sown in the earth, it is less than the seeds that be in the earth. But when it is sown, it groweth up, and becometh greater than all the herbs, shooteth forth out great branches, and so the fowls of the air may lodge under the shadow of it. Now, it says, for the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear, after the full corn in the ear, right? The Lord's gonna bring the blade, man. Then the earth is gonna yield her fruit. Then the first fruit is gonna cause the earth to yield her fruit. 29th verse, but when the fruit is brought forth, immediately he put it in the sickle, because the harvest is coming. The harvest is plenteous. Yeah, the scripture say what? The laborers are few. Those laborers are going to avoid that blade. Ezekiel the 9th chapter and the 4th verse. They're going to have exemption from the blade that the Lord is going to bring, the sword. All right? The right hand is going to be exempt from this destruction of the left hand side. The first fruits. Because the harvest is coming. And he said, whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of the Most High Bashim Shai? All right? Or wherewith shall we compare it to? It is like a grain of the mustard seed, which when it is sown in the earth is less than the seeds that be in the earth. But when it is sown, it groweth up and becometh greater than all the herbs. It won't be greater than all the rest of these herbs, the rest of these nations that have sprung forth. All right, Ezekiel the 17th chapter. Sirach 17, Ezekiel 17.
That the outside kind of reflects that, and like, oh yeah, I didn't even wash my hair. That's right.
Says, it says, son of man, put forth a parable. The second verse is, speak a parable unto the house of Israel. It say, thus saith the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings, long wing and full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came unto Babylon and took the highest branch of the cedar. He cropped off the top of his young twigs and carried it into a land of traffic. And he set it in the city of merchant. And he took also the seed of the land and planted it in a fruitful field. And he placed it by great waters and set it in a willow tree. And it grew, and it became a spreading vine of low feathers. Its branches turned toward him, and the roots thereof went under him. So it became a vine and brought forth branches and shot forth twigs. And there was also other great eagle with great wings and many feathers. Behold, this vine did bend her roots towards him, and shot forth her branches towards him, that he might water it by the furrow of her plantation. All right, so this place was built up by us. All right, here it is. This place sprang forth, and now the blade gonna come upon it. So Mark the 18th chapter, the 4th chapter, and the 28th verse. For the earth bringeth forth her fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear. After the full corn in the ear. After this place gets the blade, we gonna come forth the full corn. But when the fruit is brought forth, the first fruits of the kingdom brought forth, immediately he put it in the sickle, because the harvest is come. Whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of the Most High, or wherewith shall we compare it to? It is like the mustard grain seed, which when it is sown in the earth, it is less than all the seeds that be in the earth. For now. But when it is sown, it groweth up. We're gonna reap what we sow. I tell you, Galatians 6 and 7. The Most High is not mocked. Like that devil that mocked the brother, Malakala, he was out there. That devil, he had mocked the brother. But the Most High is not mocked. All right, that devil, level 666 devil. I had did that lesson. They say it groweth up and becoming greater than all the herbs. We're going to be greater than all the herbs. Then the herb that has sprung up. So in Ezekiel 17th chapter, I'm going to jump to the end of the chapter. I'm going to get to the point. It says, and thus saith the Lord, the 22nd verse, I will also take up the highest branch of the cedar, and I will set it, and I will crop off from the top of his young twigs a tender one, and I will plant it upon a high eminent mountain. And in the mountain of the house of Israel, I will plant it. And it shall bring forth bulbs and bear fruit. We're going to bear fruit. The first fruits are going to bear fruit. They're going to cause the earth to bear fruit. Bear her fruit like a woman. All right? Bear her fruit to her husband. And be a goodly cedar, and under it shall dwell all the fowls of every wing. And in the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell. And all the trees of the field shall I know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree and exalted the low tree, and dried up the green tree. Dried up these herbs, man. Cut them down. Dried them up by nuclear fire. It had made the dry tree to flourish. We was the dry tree that was going to flourish. And I had spoken it, and I have done it, because he's going to water us. They say he's going to make the doctrine rain. He's going to pour out doctrine as prophecy, right? Upon the tender herb. He's going to water his people, man. Satiate the soul of the afflicted, or the thirsty. That's why I said, can these bones live? Ezekiel the 37th chapter. These people on this side. Deuteronomy 32. It says, the first verse, give ear unto me, O ye heavens, and I'll speak. And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, and my speech shall distill as the dew. The doctrine, it's like the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of the Lord, how I shall shine unto the first, unto the election. Ascribe greatness unto our power. For he is the rock, his work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment. A God of truth, and without iniquity, just and righteous. Alright? So, matter of fact, get this, pour out doctrine. Go and pour out doctrine and prophecy. Pour this word into it. I tell you in Joel, the 2nd chapter. Alright, your daughters shall have visions. Your son shall prophesy. Alright? The other nations are not prophesying, man. Sirach 24 and 27, he maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light. All right, the people that be in great darkness have seen the great light too. Look at that too. People that walk in great darkness. Isaiah 9 and 1, nevertheless the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. Right? The dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. In the time of our affliction, that was the time of vexation. The dimness, we didn't have light, this word, this truth, this knowledge. We didn't have a comforter. Many days and years shall the children of Israel dwell without a teraphim, an ephod, a sacrifice, without a king. Alright? When at the first he likely afflicted, it's like the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. Afterward, did the more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan and Gilead of the nations. The people that have walked in great darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them have the light shine. This is the land of the valley of shadow of death. All right. Upon them the light has shined. This is where the word was preached. This is where you see men with 12 tribes speaking the name of the Lord. All right. And other, on this side of the world, namely, brothers in London. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of brothers are here in Babylon the Great, in the land of the valley of shadow of death. You see certain brothers in Peru and Mexico City, things of that nature. All right. Because the Lord's gonna gather the elect from the four winds. I tell you in Matthew 24 chapter. He's gonna gather his elect. Okay, so it says he maketh the doctrine of the knowledge appear as the light. Sirach 24 and 27. And as Gion in the time of vintage, the first man knew her not, no more shall the last man find her out. Yeah, because we're gonna obtain her fully when the Lord changes our body. All right, for her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels are profounder than the great deep. Right now we know in part and prophesy in part. When he's come, we shall see through the glass. We ain't gonna see through the glass darkly anymore, man. That says in 1 John 3 and 2, when he comes, we shall be like him. We shall see him as he is, and we shall be like him. All right. It says, I also came out as a brook from a river and as a conduit into a garden. And I will water my best garden, right? The Garden Eden. All right, the Garden East of Eden. Like I said, the earth going to be a paradise again. And I will water abundantly my garden in bed, and lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. And I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning. And I will send her forth as her light. And I will send forth her light afar off. And I will yet pour out doctrine and prophecy, and I will leave it to all ages forever. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. Right. The Apostle Paul, what did he say? He said, I endure all things for the elect's sake. All right. So there you go. Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31. It says, first verse, at the same time saith the Lord in power, I'll be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. And the Lord will cause us to rest. All right. Arise and depart, Micah 2 and 10, this is not our rest. The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness I have drawn thee. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and thou shalt go forth in the dance that make merry. Very loud, very, very loud. Anyways, I said I will be again the fourth verse. Again, I will build thee. Jeremiah 31:4. Thou shalt be built, O virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and thou shalt go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Thou shalt yet plant upon the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. Yeah, we're gonna have abundance, man. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the mountain of Ephraim shall cry, arise and let us go up to Zion unto the Lord our power. Yeah, we're the watchmen upon the Mount Ephraim. All right. Okay. We're the watchmen upon the Mount Ephraim, man. They're saying, arise and let us go up to the Mount Zion unto the Lord our power. For thus saith the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say unto the Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. The remnant of Israel being the first fruits, man. All right, the first fruits. For thus saith the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout amongst the chief of the nations, and publish ye and praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind, the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. All right. The women shall be delivered, man, through great birth pains, and they shall come with great weeping, and with supplication I will lead them, and I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in the straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Right? And Ephraim is my firstborn. So it says, hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off. And say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a flock doth his shepherd, as a shepherd does his flocks. Like it. For the Lord have redeemed Yaquah and strengthened him, it's like a ransom him from the hand of him that was stronger than him. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord, for wheat, for wine, for oil, for the young of the flock, and for the herd. And their souls shall be watered, and they shall not sorrow anymore at all. And then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and I will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with goodness. That's right, you man that's in this truth. You know, hey, you gonna be taken care of. My servants shall eat. That's what I said. But the heathen shall envy these, and shall be able to do nothing against them. You know, they shall be married, but thou shalt be married and have abundance. You know, so I will satiate the soul of the priest, Jeremiah 31 and 14, with goodness. All right, that'll be the 144,000, man. Start with the priest. All right, of the Lord. So it says Zechariah 12. Zechariah 12:4. In that day, says the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. Now open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse of the people with blindness, and the governors of Judah shall say in the heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their God. In that day I'll make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood, like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all people round about, on the right hand, on the left, and Jerusalem should be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem.
They canceled.
Yeah, in our own kingdom, man. In that day shall the Lord declare defend, it's like the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that's feeble amongst them at that day shall be as David. And the house of David shall be as the Most High house by Shemel Shai, with the angel of the Lord before them. At the house of David shall be as God, right? And it shall become to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. And they shall mourn for him as one mourning for his only son. And shall be in bitterness for him as one that is bitter in bitterness for his firstborn. Right, the firstborn is going to come, all right? And he's going to slay those that was responsible for his death. They're going to save the firstborn, and those that are responsible, that pierced him, shall mourn. Right? They shall mourn, man. Even those that pierced him. The sun hit me right now. Turn it this way. So it says, it shall come to pass the ninth verse, that I will seek to destroy all nations that come up against her, against Jerusalem, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. All right, the Lord gonna be in bitterness for his firstborn. All right, his elect. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hagramidron in the valley of Megiddon. And the land shall mourn every family apart. All right. Yeah, we're gonna be good, man. All right. The house of David, the scripture says, shall be as God, as we just said before. So it said, Israel was his holiness, Jeremiah 2:3, unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase. Israel was his holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Lord. We shall be the first fruits of his increase, man. We shall be the first fruits of his increase. Luke 17:20. It says, when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of the Most High shall come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of heaven coming down with observation. Neither shall they say, Lo here or Lord there. For behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. That kingdom be unlocked. All right, upon the arrival of the Lord, man. Romans the 11th chapter. Okay, Romans the 11th chapter. And say, say the 16th verse, for it said, for if the first fruit be holy, the whole lump is holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. Yeah. If the first fruit be holy, the lump is holy. If Yahweh Shai is holy, right? His man holy, right? To those he knew before the foundation of the world. That's what he told Jeremiah. He said, Jeremiah 1:5, I knew you before the foundation of the world. The first fruit is holy. That's why his first fruits are being called back. That's why the first fruit is being returned unto the Lord, man. All right? The first fruit is being called back to the Father, man. If the first fruit be holy, the whole lump is holy. Also, and if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and though being a wild olive tree were grafted in amongst them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root. Right, so the root is calling back his branches, the Gentiles that were part of the Commonwealth of Israel at one time. Not all the Gentiles, not all of Israel, and not all the natural Gentiles, but they're never coming into the congregation. They were never grafted in because they were never part of the first fruit. You know, they were never part of the lump. The lump was they're not holy. They're profane, right? And right now, the majority of our people are profane, but the Lord have not chosen them part of his election, even though they are the elect. But ultimately, Israel have not obtained, it says in the 7th verse, Romans 11:7, that which he seeketh for. The election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Esau was always blinded. But Esau was always rejected, all right? Esau was always blinded, but Esau was always rejected, all right? But Esau is the thief, you know? Esau's the ungodly, man. Tell him I'm the best. I shot you. Esau is the ungodly, man. Esau is the cruel Lord, man. Scripture say, Sirach 28:1, he that revengeth shall find vengeance. All right, so this devil's revenging. Now he's going to find vengeance. Romans 16:5. Likewise, greet the church that is in her house. Salute my well-beloved Ephranatus, who is the first fruits of Achaia unto Yahushua. All right, that's who the word is to, unto the first fruits. The first fruits. That's who's brought forth. That's who's going to be upon the tender herb that the doctrine is dropped to. Who the Lord dropped his doctrine to. Sirach 24 and 33. All right. Again, I don't think I read that. Matter of fact, I think I read the chapter. I think I read 24, but I don't think I read to the 33rd verse. Matter of fact, I'll go back. I shall go back. Sirach 24 and oh yeah, I did read it. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy and leave it until all ages forever. For I make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. Yeah, and that's what it will come. The people that walk in great darkness have seen the great light. Isaiah 9 and 2. You know. Okay, so that's good. So 1 Corinthians 15. It says the order of the resurrection, the 20th verse. But now is Yahushua risen from the dead and has become the first fruits of them that sleep. Right, because the Lord defeated death first. So he become the first fruits and become the first fruits of them that sleep. For since by man came death, by man also came the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all died, even so in Yahushua shall all be made alive. But every man his order. First, Yahushua the first fruits. All right? Yahushua first, then the first fruits. Afterward, they that are Yahushua at his coming. 144,000, 1/3. Then cometh the end, after the Lord destroyed this place, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and have all authority and all power. The last, he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. When he have put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is made manifest that he is accepted, like which did put all things under him. But when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also see himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that the Most High Yahweh may be in all. Right, because we're going. Because the Most High will dwell in us in the spirit. That's why we're perfect. That's what it means when we got spiritual power. We can't be perfect. We can't have spiritual power without being perfect. You know? Like they showed you in S-Man, man, Mystique got hit with the serum and she was no longer one of them, all right? Because she was still in the body. You know? All right? She was still in the meat suit, man. You know? Mystique was still in the meat suit, man. So she was changed, you know? She lost that power. As Magneto told her, man, sorry, my dear, you're no longer one of us, you know? That's why we must all be changed. So that can't happen to you. You can't lose your powers anymore. All right? You can't lose their powers no more, man. Nobody can take those powers from you, man. 2 Timothy 2. Second Timothy 2 and verse 4, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for the masteries, yet he's not crowned, except he strive lawfully. For the husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. To bring forth the fruit on the earth, the husbandman that laboreth, you got to be partaker of the health of the fruits. To receive the fruits of the Spirit, to receive the truth, and then to be able to change the world, man, as they call it, you know. Because that's what needs to happen, you know. That's what needs to happen, man. But you got to go through the straight gate, you know. I said in Matthew the 7th chapter. You know, so the husbandman that laboreth must be first partakers of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord shall give thee understanding of all things. Remember that Yahushua of the seed of David, all right, Yahushua Mashiach from the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel, when I suffer as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of Yahushua is not bound. Therefore I endure all things, that's the Apostle Paul said earlier, that's what he said, I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that I may also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua for eternal glory. What is the faithful saying? If we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer with him, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe him not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself. All right, he gonna fulfill the word that he left behind. On to his first fruit. That's what he promised to. And those are the ones that have faith. I beseech you, First Corinthians 16 and 15, I beseech you. So I beseech you, brethren, you know the house of Stephanus, that is the first fruits of Achaia. They have addicted themselves to the ministry. All right, the first fruits have addicted themselves to the ministry. All right, because they understand the importance of this, the meaning. That's who the Lord has begotten. James 1:18. Of his own will he begat us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Of his own will he begat us with the word of truth, that we should be the kind of first fruits of his creatures. All right. So the husbandman that laboreth must be a partaker of the fruits. Revelation 14 and 4. But these are they which are not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the land whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from amongst men, and are being the first fruits of the Most High, and unto the Lamb. All right, so these are they which are not defiled women. They're not defiled with this world. These are they which follow the land whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from amongst men, being the first fruits unto the Most High, and unto the Lamb. All right. So Hebrews 12, and I'll leave it there for now. Hebrews 12 and 22. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living power. It says, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly, and to the church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, to the power, and to the God, the power, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. Right, you have come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living power, the heavenly Jerusalem, to the innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly, and to the church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to the God of the judge of all, to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua Hamashiach, the mediator of the new covenant, and the blood of sprinkling that speaking better things than that of Abel. All right. All right. So with that, I'll say, call like la, Yahweh, call like la Yahweh, Yahushua, All right. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.